Hi everyone, we are going to start working with Photoshop. So this first video is going to show you an overview of the interface and tools. I'm not going to go into each tool specifically. I'll do that for another video as well as the panels, but I just want to give you a basic overview of the interface. So first, what we have here is Photoshop. This is Photoshop CS6, okay? If you do go online and you search in something, you may be searching Photoshop CC, and that is the updated version of Photoshop, which we don't have, okay? So it looks very similar to Illustrator, but there are a couple changes. First big change that I always talk to people about is in Illustrator, we have what's called an artboard where we can change the size. Here, we call it a canvas, okay? And what Photoshop is used for is mostly for editing photos, whereas Illustrator is used more for creating a specific animation or something of your choice, okay? So in Illustrator, we usually go to File, New, and then we have our artboard. You can do this most of the time, but you can also start off with opening a photo specifically, and you can start there. But before we do that, I'm just going to open just a new canvas, okay? And this will pop up. And a couple of things I want to talk to you about. I'm going to call this interface demo, okay? So here are the automatic presets. So a couple of things you want to know. Your resolution is automatically actually going to be set as 72 pixels per inch. It's not very good. You need a high resolution to have a sharper image. So we need to change that to at least above 300. So I always go for 320 pixels per inch. Now, I have here pixels per inch because usually when I'm making something in Photoshop, it's going to someone else and they are going to be printing it. So when you're printing something, it is better to have pixels per inch, okay? Or have your height and width in inches. If you want to change this to pixels, okay? So let's just change this real quick. Okay, pixels to inches, fine. Okay, so here I had inches, now I'm gonna change this to pixels. This is better for the web, okay? But I'm gonna keep it inches. So again, inches are good for your canvas size, width, and height. If you're printing something, if you are using something for the web, you're going to want to change this preset to pixels. Okay, we're going to keep it at inches. I have a standard 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to say, okay. Now, just so you know, the difference between Illustrator and Photoshop is that Illustrator is a vector, kind of made up of lines image, and a Photoshop image is now going to be made up of pixels. So you know sometimes when you zoom into a picture and you have all these little tiny squares, those are the pixels, okay? A vector image comes out extremely sharp, okay? Where a Photoshop image could sometimes be what we call pixelated or grainy or blurry because it's made up of pixels, okay? So when you open a file or open a canvas, it's going to show you up here how zoomed in you are. So we're at 25%. If you ever want to change that, there's two options. Down here in this corner, you can type in a new one, or you can use, I'm just actually going to move this over for you guys so you can see it. Okay, you can actually use the zoom tool. Okay, so first you'll see over here to your right, you should always have, I believe you should always have your layers panel showing. Okay, that's an automatic preset. It's automatically going to name this background, okay, and it's going to be locked. Perfectly fine. Okay, some people like to unlock this because if we were to go File, Open, and we opened an image, it would automatically lock the background image. Okay, that's why I like to bring in a new canvas and then pull in the image. If you want to unlock the background, all you have to simply do is double click. This will come up. It'll be called layer 0, okay, color, and all that good stuff, okay? By the way, color is not the actual background color. Okay, So now it is unlocked. And I can simply lock it by coming over here to my layers panel and just say lock. Okay? So, a couple things to go over. First, okay, this again is called the canvas. This area right here where we're looking at our canvas, and this would actually be moved over a bit. Okay, this is called our document window. This is where we're going to be making everything. Okay, so again, canvas, document window. Over to our left-hand side, if you're looking at your screen, you have the tools panel. Very similar to Illustrator, okay, but a little different, especially with what the capabilities of each tool can do. Okay, pen tool is a little different. Text tool is about the same. You now have what's called a path selection tool instead of a direct versus direct selection tool. And then you have some other tools up here, okay, that are a little bit different than what we're used to. We still have our stroke and fill right here. And if you see something that has a dog ear at the right-hand corner, okay, so if you click and hold, let's go here. Hold on one second. Okay, click and hold. Okay, gradient tool, you will see there are those hidden tools back there. Okay. Obviously, I can't do that. Layer's locked, okay? When a layer is locked, you can't do anything to it. Oh, I'm just going to unlock it. Okay. So, at the top, okay, right in this area, again, this is called our control panel, just like it is in Illustrator. Okay, this is our control panel. Above that is our menu bar, okay? Like every other software that we've been using, Illustrator specifically, this is our menu bar, okay? Our control panel is where you control the options for the tool that you were using. Same with Illustrator, okay? So let's use and select the text tool. So watch at the top right here how this will change. So right now we are on the gradient tool. So it's showing us different types of gradients that we can work with. If I select the text tool, okay, there we go. You'll see that it changes now. Now I have the text tool. Okay, I can change my font. I can change the size. I can change the alignment and the color. Okay, so again, the control panel is where you can control the options for the specific tool that you are using at that time. The menu bar up here is very similar to Illustrator, like I mentioned, but you now have the ability to do some more effects that are not here in your tools panel. So file is about the same, okay? You can open images or you can place them in. That's up to you, okay? Edit, a big thing we're going to learn when we go through with our tools is Control Z, okay, which is our usual edit undo, is simply an edit undo. So it'll go back and forth. It'll undo something, and then if you push edit undo again, it'll actually put back what you had. So you have to actually step backwards. That's why you see here, step backwards. Okay, so you have to hold down Control Z Alt to step backwards. And that means you continuously step backwards instead of getting stuck between your last edit and then your current edit. And I'll show you that, okay? So image, okay, there's a bunch of things that you can do to adjust your image, okay, here. That is over in your control panels as well, okay? We can adjust our image size if we bring one in, canvas size as well, okay? So if I click canvas size, this will adjust. Now, when you change this canvas size and you already have something on your document, you have to anchor it in, meaning you have to tell where you want the rest of the document or the canvas to go. All right, don't worry about that right now. In edit, okay, in edit, image, if you go to image size, This is where you can change your pixels, okay? And you can change your document size, okay? So again, image, canvas size is just the actual canvas, and it will adjust accordingly. But what I like to do is go to image size, and you can adjust the document, which is your canvas, okay, and the pixels at the same time if need be. Okay, layer panel, okay, you can do a bunch of this. You can also do most of that over here at your collapsible layer panel. Okay, we have select, filter, which we will be using eventually if we get there. 3D, view, window. Okay, remember, window is important, just like Illustrator. This is what shows what collapsible panels you're using to the right. Okay, so right now you can see, but the check mark, I have layers, path, swatches, options, and tools over here. Okay, so color, swatches. I also have navigator. There it is. Okay, so paths and channels, I have that as well. And then help. Okay, so let's move over to our right before we wrap up and review what we've just gone over with the Photoshop overview. So again, you have a couple things here. You have these collapsible panels, and it's basically like a 2-in-1. You have these collapsible panel options and these collapsible panel options. Okay, so right here are these small ones, and you can make them larger, they're icons, or you can collapse them. Okay, so here I have out history. That just lets me know what I've done and how I've done it. Actions, if you add in any actions that you've had done. Properties, I don't use all of these. Info. If I'm using a brush tool, this allows me to figure out what kind of brush I would like. Okay, this is my clone source. We might get to that. I'm not going to use that right now. Okay, this is my character. So this is just like we have in Illustrator. If you were on text in Illustrator and you went up to the menu bar, there was a character in like a yellowish orange that you could click on. It's the same thing here. Okay, we have tracking here. Okay, we have the horizontal scale and the vertical scale, as well as the font size and font name. Okay. It's nice here because you can actually underline, subscript, superscript, all that good stuff. And right behind that is paragraph, and I have paragraph right here. So that's the alignment, how far you want things to be moved in and whatnot. Okay, and then lastly down here we have tools, presets. We don't really need that right now. Okay. So again, remember with your collapsible panels, just like we can in Illustrator, you can grab and drag these out as well. Okay, so here are my color swatches. I have a good amount. Some are preset, some I've added in as well. Okay. Same goes for anything that is new. The new is always a small box with the dog ear in the left-hand corner. Okay, so that means new. Trash can means delete. Okay, I'm going to throw this back in here by clicking and dragging. I have my navigator tool here. That's so I can navigate around my canvas. And colors, same goes for Illustrator as it is here in Photoshop. Okay. Layers we have here. Now layers are going to be a little bit different. You can work in layers by putting multiple objects on one layer. In Photoshop, everything you do, so if you make a line and then you add text, it is automatically going to make a new layer. So let's try this out. I'm going to click and drag and type hello. Notice layer 0 is my background. Layer 1, T, again here it shows you, indicates a text layer. So anything that I do is going to be its own layer. Now let's say I make a new text box. Okay. Now when you type in something, it's always going to ask you up here. Okay, are you sure you want to do this? Cancel. Or do you want to commit? Commit. Okay, so let's click and drag. Hello again. Look over to your layers panel. it now has layer 1. Okay, I'm going to say yes, it's where I want it. It's going to show you exactly what's there. This is really nice because now you're not searching constantly within each layer. If you notice, if I need to move something, I need to come up to my move tool. Okay, and I'm not going to go into that because I want to do the tools by itself. So if I need a new layer, I have created a new layer here. Okay, you can create groups like you can in Illustrator, and then these are fill or adjustments to a layer, and we'll get to that later on. But if you need to delete a layer, you just click the trash can, make sure you're selected on it, and delete. You say, do you want to? Yes. And there you go. Okay. Channels and paths we'll get to as well, but that's all we are going to talk about today. So, couple reminders. 1, this is called a canvas in Photoshop, not an artboard, as it is in Illustrator. This is a canvas. This area here is our document window. This is our tools panel. Okay, and when we select a tool, at the top here on our control panel is where we are able to control the options for that specific tool. At the top, we have our menu bar, like we did in Illustrator, and over to the right, we have our collapsible panels. We'll get more into this when we go over the tools video.